Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Deborah Scrow, the Mentoring Director for Women in Big Data, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Data Science Olympians 2023 closing ceremony. This is a time for celebration and for recognition. So, Rupa, next slide, please. We'll have some introductions of the program, of Women in Big Data, of the people who are responsible for making this happen. And those introductions will then be followed by team presentations, panel discussion with team leaders, a Q&A period, and then closing remarks. Next slide, please. Let's start by introducing the Women in Big Data organization. Next slide, Rupa. Women in Big, and we'll go back one. Thank you. Women in Big Data was founded in 2015 with the mission of supporting women in the big data space. And how do they do that? By connecting a community of diverse women, by cultivating corporate, philanthropic, and media partnerships, and by championing careers through training, coaching, and mentoring. Next slide, please. Here's a visual to show you the geographic reach, the scope of Women in Big Data, with its 52 chapters across 6 continents. Next slide, please. And let's take a look at our membership. Viewing it from the job families or the skill set, 3/4 of our members are involved in data science, data engineering, and other related fields. And when we look at our membership from our experience level, 1/3 of the members have less than 5 years experience, 1/3 have from 6 to 15 years, and the final 1/3 has 16 plus years experience, a wide diversity and balance of industry exposure, experience, and skill sets. Next slide, please. Some of the things that Women in Big Data concentrate on is workshops and training programs. You've probably seen these advertised on LinkedIn. The various chapters offer these throughout the year. We also have a well-received and very popular mentorship program. Within our first year, we offered 19 programs, 6 speed mentoring events, and provided service, mentoring service, for 750 participants. Looking forward, Women in Big Data is working to cultivate a certificate program and also offer a multi-day conference. Next slide, please. Now we'll take a look at the people who are responsible for the DSO work that you have all participated in. Let's take a look. Next slide. At the chapter level, the Bay Area chapter, the DSO sponsor is Soima, and assisted by Erica, who is a co-director for the Bay Area chapter. From our board and executive committee, we benefited from the contribution of Shala and Tina, and the overall majority of the congratulations goes to Rupa, Shabasti, and Anu for their tireless work of executing and leading this wonderful program. Next slide, please. Let's talk a little bit about the DSO program itself. Next slide. It was especially designed with you in mind to develop and advance data science, big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence skills. And that was done by providing a platform where the participants could showcase and display the technical and leadership skills that they already had mastered and learned through this program, using a collaborative data science contest method for that engagement. Participants engaged either as team leaders, thank you very much, team leaders, team coordinators, also thank you to you, and to the team members who dedicated their time and talent to make this program possible. The program also offered opportunity for the participants to network with peers and with professionals. Next slide, please. And just a little bit about the structure of the program. It was a 4-month program launched February 1st of this year, and all of the projects were completed by May 10th. And that completion required that the teams finish their Kaggle competition and submitted their results according to the criteria of the Kaggle competition. We already spoke about some of the objectives of the program, which was to increase the learning in the big data and related skill sets, to begin and advance careers in those spaces, and to offer mentorship and networking with team leads and peers. Next slide, please. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce you to the panel moderator and one of the team leads for the Data Science Olympian program. Rupa Gangatkar is a data scientist with a machine learning engineer at a startup working on digital transformation using AI. Rupa has worked extensively in building AI and machine learning capabilities across wide industry verticals. Having a long career in the semiconductor industry, Rupa worked at Intel Corp for 15 plus years in senior roles covering chip design, CPU architecture, Internet of Things, and embedded systems. Rupa holds a master's degree in computer engineering from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities and a bachelor's degree in electronics engineering from Sivija, I hope I said that right, University, India. She is currently serving as a core team member for Women in Big Data's Bay Area chapter, and is Women in Big Data's Global Data Science Program Hackathon Director. Congratulations on that new assignment, Rupa. She is also an industry advisor on the board for Kansas State University Salina, and Rupa is also involved with other technology organizations as a mentor to young professionals in data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence hardware. Rupa, it's my great pleasure to turn the proceedings over to you.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, as well as having a great introduction to our program and Women in Big Data. Thank you so much for the introductions. Hello, everyone, and welcome to DSO Closing Ceremony 2023. I would like to introduce all our 5 teams who participated in this year's DSO cohort. These are our rock stars, everyone. We had 5 teams participated this year. We have Team Inference, we have Emma, who led the team, and we have Namrata Dangol for as a team coordinator from Team Inference. Emma is a data scientist, is applied data scientist at 5'9", and she picked very interesting topic of not just NLP, but natural language inference, and hence her team's name is Inference, and you will know more about it in a short time. Our next team is Team F1. These are the racers, these are the go-getters of our cohort this year. It's my pleasure to introduce you Olina Burda Lassen. She's a data scientist at 5'9" here in Bay Area. Their challenge was also NLP based, and you will know more about it. This year, we had 3 teams picking up challenge from natural language processing area of AI. Olina was assisted by Kaveshri. She is a computer science graduate from Arizona State University. We now have Avinash Ahuja. He's the team lead for Team Data Navigators. He is like our, so we have F1 team, the racers, and Avinash is our excellent navigator, navigating the data navigators for last few weeks with us. He's a manager for developer relations of AI and ML at NVIDIA. We have Jessica Hogan, who's a senior data analyst and AI and ML enthusiast, as the team coordinator for data navigators. And you will hear more about their team and how they navigated throughout this program from Jessica very soon. Then we have Team Analytica. We all need house. We all need space to call home. And that's exactly what the challenge was with Namita. Namita Saxena is a senior data scientist and a statistician. She led the team Analytica. They worked on a housing price problem. Shilpa Gupta, she was the team coordinator for Team Analytica. Shilpa is a SQL database administrator at Five9, and Shilpa will be sharing their experiences with us today. Our last but not the least team is Team Square Roots, and it's led by Sridevi Puddipedi. She is an educator, entrepreneur, and author. She is currently in India. She would try to join us, but her team will be represented by Eliza Thornton. She's a practicing physician and AI ML enthusiast, and she's trying to bring AI and ML and her medical experience into healthcare. It will be very interesting to hear about their experiences from Team Square Roots today. We have one more team coordinator from Team Square Roots, Camille. She's a senior data analyst at Optum. So with that, I hand it over to Emma, our first team inference, to talk about their team, their challenge, and their experiences. So a big round of applause to all our rock stars of DSO 2023. Emma, over to you.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Rupa. And hello, everyone. My name is Emma. As mentioned, I was the team leader for Team Inference. Namrata was my team coordinator, and we had 2 other team members in our team, Bill and Himalika. So for our team, we worked on and completed a challenge called Contradictory, My Dear Watson. This challenge is from Keiko, and it poses the question, can machine learning determine the relationship between 2 sentences? This kind of task is related to the field of natural language inference, which tries to predict whether 2 sentences are unrelated, contradict each other, or show entailment. So for us, our goal was to create and build a model that could accurately predict whether 2 sentences belong to which of those free relation types. So we were given a training data set and a test data set, and the data set we were given was actually quite balanced. There were near equal number of examples for each of the free relationship types, and it was also multilingual. So there were 15 languages represented in the data set. And after 4 months of hard work, Team Inference was able to get 34th place out of 68 teams with a public score of 71.5%. And now the next slide. Our basic workflow was quite simple. We first took in the training data that we were given, and we did some optional pre-processing to it so that it becomes the input into our fine-tuned model. That model learns from that data that we give to it so that it can then make predictions in the test data set. And I provided a visual here that shows what the output of the model looks like. The left-hand column is the sentence pairs. The right-hand column is the model predictions. And we submit those predictions to Kaggle so that it can compare it to the gold standard and then give us a submission score, which tells us the accuracy of the model. So for the first part of our testing process, we wanted to first see which model gave us the highest score. So we started with a baseline model of BERT-based multilingual case, and we got a baseline score of 66.1%. We then tried a lot of different other BERT models, such as the StillBERT, XML, Roberta-based model, and it was the Roberta model that gave us the highest submission score at 69.5%. So we decided to go forward with the Roberta model. The next slide, please. After choosing the model, our next stage was to then fine-tune that model. So we looked at 4 different hyperparameters. We looked at number of epochs, batch size, validation split, and the learning rate. And we tested different combinations of all these parameters, and we found that the highest score that we got was from increasing the number of epochs from 2 to 5, and we got the score of 71.5%. So I was quite pleased with this score that our team got. We had a lot of successes while going through this whole process, but we also faced a lot of challenges as well. The first one was that all my team members were beginners in data science. So the first month was just dedicated towards teaching them the basics of data science, teaching them what BERT was, what transformers were, why they were necessary. And I really made sure to take the time to make sure that they understood this, since this is the basis of the challenge, and I wanted them to understand the code that they were writing for this challenge. And this was also our first time using Kaggle as a platform. So we also ran into a lot of errors just figuring out how to run the code on Kaggle. One of the errors that we most commonly saw was the resource exhaust error. I had to do a lot of Google searching, a lot of reading up to figure out this error, but it turns out it was because we were using 2 large models and our batch sizes were too large. So we had to decrease our batch sizes to 16 or 8 and use smaller models in order to get our code to finally run to completion. And the final challenge was that this was also my first time ever mentoring a team. So I also had a lot to learn from this experience. I periodically asked for feedback from my team members, and they actually gave me some pretty good feedback in return. So I felt like I also learned a lot from this experience. And I felt like they learned a lot as well. They learned about data science, they learned about the transformers and why they are necessary. I really hope that they learned through this challenge the process of building and fine-tuning a model for a specific task. And I hope that they noticed that whenever I try to solve a bug, I hope they noticed the steps I took to approach that error, so that if they encounter it in the future, they have some idea of how to solve it in the future. But overall, I'm really proud of what my team accomplished. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Emma. That was great to hear. Our next team is F1. Go F1. I would like to welcome Olina. Olina, please take over.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for attending our closing session. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very grateful that I have had the opportunity to participate in this program. We received a lot of support from Rupa and Srabasti. I cannot stress it enough. Like, it was always really nice that we had a lot of touch points and they were helping us stay on track. I also wanted to express my gratitude to Kavya, and she will be speaking to one of the slides as well, the team coordinator. She did a fantastic job, and honestly, this wouldn't have been possible without her hard work to help with our challenge. We also have our team member Devi. I'm not sure if she joined. I hope so. Devi, if you're here, thank you so much also for your hard work on our challenge. We can move to the next slide. I'll briefly describe what we were trying to solve. Yeah, this is our pictures, and next slide is about the challenge. So we do have, it was a brand new challenge with a prize that we have not received, which maybe we'll try for harder next time. But we did have a really big challenge for us, and especially I think what maybe made it even more complicated for us, that the deadline for finishing the challenge was fairly soon, a month after we started. So we tried really, really hard to have a submission before the deadline, and it didn't quite work. But I think because everyone was trying really hard to learn new things and code and try different things quickly, we made quite a bit of progress. Our challenge was a recommender engine for curriculum for K through 12 grades. It's a multilingual data set. So we tried using the bird-based multilingual on case first. And then as we noticed that, I actually can relate to what Emma was saying, we kind of tried to go for the challenge first, and then it didn't quite work out. So we did a step back and we were focusing on learning. But it was a little bit like maybe a little bit too fast, too soon. So when we did a step back, we started learning. We tried simpler models, random forest, even logistic regression, because even though it's like the most simple model, there is still nothing wrong with it. And so we tried to use, we actually ended up using k-nearest neighbors algorithm, and it did work. We did try, I'm not gonna read my slide if you want to look through the details, but I wanna touch a little bit more on soft skills. What I have heard from the team, we did have a few dropouts, unfortunately, but I think half of our team was able to stick around and finish the project. And the feedback I have heard, even from people who did not finish, I have heard that doing this challenge pushed them to learn things they never would have otherwise. They said, I would never research transformers on my own. And they were very grateful for this opportunity. So I really hope that it did make a difference, and it sparked, like there was this new inspiration for data science, which I think is probably one of the most important takeaways from this program, is that you get interested in data science and you want to learn more. So I hope that we achieved that. If there is another slide, I think we included a visualization of our data set, but this one, I wanted to hand it over to Kavya, because I was not part of the team submission on Kaggle because we had a limit on team members, but Kavya was in charge of that. So I wanted her to share her experience with Kaggle submission. Kavya?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi. I'm here to share our journey and the challenges we faced while doing this project. So as Olena already mentioned, we started initially utilizing the powerful bird-based multilingual and cased transformers. However, we soon realized that the intricate architecture and the sheer size of the model hindered our progress. So further, we encountered significant memory issues while submitting that model to the Kaggle and running over during the training process, which compounded our difficulties. So we decided to explore simpler models like logistic regression, random forest, and KNNs. After thorough experiments, we found that KNN consistently outperformed than the others. So we stuck to that model. And throughout this journey, we learned invaluable lessons, and I believe are worth highlighting. First and foremost, the of division of labor and effective teamwork, as we were only 3, helped us a lot, and that played a crucial role in the process. And by leveraging our individual strengths, we were able to overcome our obstacles together. And throughout this journey, we discovered the significance of conflict resolution, knowledge sharing, exploration, and networking as well. These lessons will undoubtedly shape our future endeavors and ensure our continued success. And lastly, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to Olena. Her unwavering guidance and expertise proved to be an invaluable resource throughout our journey. Thank you, thank you all for your attention.
Thank you so much, Kavya. Yeah, this is really, and this is our sort of like to continue the theme of F1, female Formula One drivers, I picked a different picture this time. See, there's 3 of us, which is kind of the 3 finishers of our challenge. So again, thank you so much, Kavya, Devi, Rupa, Srabasti, and all my fellow teammates and team leaders. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Awesome. Go F1 team. You did finish the line, right? So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Congratulations. Thanks, Kavya. It was good to see you, and thanks so much for sharing your experiences.
Thank you.
Next, we have team data navigators. So Jessica and Avinash, over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica. I am the coordinator for Team Data Navigators. Our team lead was Avinash, and our team members were Alicia, Yarna, and Jacqueline. You can go to the next slide. So our challenge was dealing with the MNIST digit recognizers. So the goal here was to correctly identify handwritten images using a machine learning model. The MNIST dataset has 70,000 handwritten images, 60,000 of which are training images and 10,000 are test images. We'll go to the next slide. So before we began on the challenge, we actually took a step back. Our team members had diverse experience from software engineering to analytics to data science. And so we broke our program up into phases. So in the first phase, we were looking at Python fundamentals as well as machine and deep learning. So we were setting up Python environments and familiarizing ourselves with functions, and then also looking at deep learning, machine learning, and computer vision theory. And then here we also had introduction to convolutions. In the next phase, we completed a homework assignment essentially where we implemented convolutions to detect the horizontal, vertical, and edge detection. We also looked at other models, so XGBoost and Random Forest, for example, and then collected metrics. And in this phase, we also dove a little bit deeper. So we're looking at neural networks and deep learning. And we also touched on feature engineering and statistics. In the last phase, we solved the problem. So team members used perhaps different models, but the structure was the same. So we imported the unstructured data, split it into training and test sets, trained fit and made predictions on the data, and then tuned the models. If you go to the next slide. So we did successfully submit our final submission. We used Alicia's convolutional neural network model. She had a score of roughly 98% accuracy. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So this is an example of what we were working on here. So on the far right is just the printout of the MNIST dataset of the handwritten images. The center image is the horizontal edge detection. So you can see the straighter lines are a little bit darker versus the horizontal lines might be a bit more blurry. And then on the last image there is the vertical edge detection. So you can see like the 4 is a really good example where it's a horizontal line versus the vertical line.
Actually, it's flipped. I made the slides, I flipped. So it's vertical in the center and horizontal on the other side. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I was saying it wrong, but
Yeah.
reading, right, yes. Vertical in the center and then horizontal, yes, on the edge there. So yes, the vertical lines in the center are a bit darker, so you could see where it's more saturated, correct, yeah. And then the horizontal on the last image there. Yes, correctly. And then if you go to the next slide, again, on the left is just a printout of the MNIST data set. And then the last kernel here that we were working with was just edge detection. So you can see the edges are a little bit darker, obviously clearer for us to read as opposed to the horizontal or vertical edge detection. And then if you go to the last slide, So we learned quite a bit in this program. To kick things off, Avinash and I had met with each individual team member to understand their skills and their background and what they wanted to get from the program. So we had a starting off point, kind of knew what we wanted to hit along the way. We developed a cadence to meet each week and set up a Slack channel, which was really helpful. So we can communicate and then share any resources or have any questions. We had an easy way to get in touch with one another. For our technical skills, obviously working a lot within Python. We learned about convolutions, machine learning, and as well as neural networks and deep learning. And then each team member successfully submitted a machine learning solution on Kaggle. Along the way, challenges, I think the biggest thing for us, perhaps some of the other teams as well, was getting everybody together. You know, we have scheduling conflicts, it's volunteer-based, we have time differences. And so just connecting can be a little bit difficult along the way. But overall, I think we performed well. We communicated quite well with one another. I think the Slack channel was helpful for us to be able to reach out if we needed to. And we worked really well together as a team. And in the end, we were able to complete our project within the time frame. And overall, you know, the goal of the team members was to understand machine learning a little bit more. And I think that we absolutely got that skill set as we came out of it. You know, Avinash did a really great job of providing enough resources. I think you guys had shared that out. Highly recommend taking a look at the decks that he had put together during some of our meetings. And so, you know, he was great at touching on surface level stuff and then being able to dive in a little bit deeper if we have any other questions.
And I'd like to add one thing. Huge kudos to the team to completing the project in 1 month less than the actual allotted time, because I was pulled in late into this endeavor, and by the time I got my bearings, the team had lost a significant amount of time. But you know, they picked it up in the end, and great job, all of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much, Jessica and Avinash. We are now on the team square roots. I'm glad that Sridevi is here. She joined from India. It's really early up there. We have Eliza, who would be representing team square roots. So Eliza, please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name's Eliza, and we have from our team, we have on today Sridevi and Amaka, and our other team members was Camille, who works in data science. Myself, I'm a physician. Amaka is a human rights lawyer, which is awesome. Hindevi has a computer science background, and then Becca, who is not on the call, unfortunately she couldn't be on, came from education. So we had a real kind of diverse background, and we were all learning a lot. Next slide, if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay, so our challenge, we did a Kaggle challenge on disaster tweets. So basically the idea was a data set full of tweets, and you had to, you know, they were, a bunch of them were labeled, is this about a disaster or is it not? Because it can be ambiguous. So for instance, you know, the club was on fire last night. That's not about an actual fire. My house is on fire is about an actual fire. So, so we, that was our challenge. And yeah, that's fine. Go ahead to the next slide. Thank you. And we did it two different ways. First, we did it with just machine learning algorithms, and then we did it with transformers and deep learning algorithms. So we did quite decently with those scores. The data set actually had a fair amount of flawed data. So that was kind of interesting, kind of real world to see. So even the very highest scores on this competition didn't get above, I think, like 0.9 was probably the maximum because there was just inherent errors in the data set. Okay, next. So first we learned about machine learning models. We learned about text preprocessing as kind of the other teams who've done NLP have talked about tokenization, vectorization. We compared different methods of vectorizing and of tokenizing, and we compared different methods, different machine learning models, and came up with support vector, which was our winner, which we submitted. And then next slide. And then we tried some different deep learning models. We tried simple neural nets and a little more complicated neural nets, and then tried some transformers. And Distilbert was our winner for the deep learning models. And that's what we submitted. And next slide. And so challenges and opportunities for growth. The schedules, we all had very busy schedules. I think we communicated pretty well. We often met on the weekends. We came in with very different backgrounds. So, you know, our programming skills were all the way from, you know, beginner to advanced. And I think even those of us that were quite beginner learned a tremendous amount. I think it was incredibly supportive. Everybody had a very open and encouraging attitude. And we spent a lot of time kind of sharing links with each other. Sridevi shared tons of videos with us. And we loved it so much, we're actually still going. We picked another project. And
Awesome.
that's it. Do you guys that were on the team want to add anything else?
We have our panel discussion we can add.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. But thank you so much, Eliza. You know, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right this time.
Fine.
Thank you so much. And, you know, let's go on to our next team. The last team is Team Analytica. And we have Shilpa here, the team coordinator for Team Analytica. And Shilpa, over to you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you all for all your project descriptions, and it's really nice to know all your challenges, and still we are all here today, and that's an amazing journey. My name is Shilpa Gupta. I work for Five9 as a SQL database administrator. I grew up in Bangalore, India, and came to California in 2016 to pursue my master's in computer science. I joined WIBT to explore big data and to learn how predictive analysis works in real-world situations. I also wanted to thank Srabasti and Rupa for this amazing opportunity. The project I worked is House Price Advanced Regression Techniques, where the issue and the project here is it's a regression problem aimed at predicting house prices based on various features. Next slide, please. Thank you. So here, the data set we got, the data set contained information about like 1400 plus houses with 81 features, and the target variable here is sales price, and the data set included both numerical as well as categorical features. The data set presented was like the main goal was predict the sales price for the houses based on learning the model from the training data set. So we have presented both training as well as test data set. And then, so how we did this journey is like we did the data pre-processing, where handling the missing values and working on categorical feature encoding, feature scaling, and with regards to doing the features, like what other new features adding new features for predicting, which were helping for the better prediction. So that is one other approach. And then that we also tried different models. The different models, it's like both linear regression, random forest, XGBoost model, and based on the scores and the scores, finally used the final result set which was presented to the Kaggle computation was the XGBoost model based on its score. And also I'm happy to say that our team is ranked a top 12% out of like 4,700 plus teams who participated. And then with what we learned is, okay, I am a SQL Server DBA, and the learning for me was like everything. It's from the basic, even EDA, that is exploration data analysis itself was a new thing for me. But everything was a new learning, and I had to like research and Google myself to learn and get knowledge about it. What we are seeing here is like how different outliners, like how we improved that, how the after transformation, like how it improved the model, and which model was like giving the better score. You can go to the next slide. Okay, the final submission was supposed to be in this, the right side, which is ID and sales price. So where ID is the unique number for each house, and the sales rep prediction. Basically, the key to takeaways, as you all said, is like learning and same thing, understanding and continuous learning and knowledge sharing was the best thing I learned from this project. And I also wanted to say that how I will be utilizing this, what I learned in my current project is, as a DBA, I can use this predictive analysis for like resource planning, and also for applying the regression model to identify any anomalies or behavior pattern in SQL Server performance metrics, and also capacity forecasting and database sizing. So I can use the regression model I used here to estimate future database growth based on historical data trends. So it will be very helpful in that way. And I also would like to encourage everyone to participate, and I will be participating again if I get the chance. And at last, I would also like to thank Kaggle team, and also for Cooper, Deb for explaining about Cooper, and also we got like feedbacks, like how we could improve further, or anything we are having concerns or challenges. So that was helpful as well. I would like to thank everyone about all the support you all gave. Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa. That was, really awesome. And, your hard work, your perseverance, you and Namita, you stuck through the end, and thank you for completing this challenge. And it was really, very nice to hear your experience and your journey. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
We have, I guess, few minutes. We can go over, let's talk to all our leaders, the team leaders. I would like to start with Avinash, because Avinash, we would definitely like to hear, about your experiences. I just want to remind our audience today that we have a few minutes left. So you all have heard all 5 teams' experiences, what they learned, and their journey. So I would like to keep it short, the panel discussion, and I would like to open it with Avinash, not trying to put you on spot, Avinash, but trying to hear, since you were one of our team leaders, and would like to start with you. Is there any particular highlight that you would like to share, and something that you would want the DSO program to do a bit differently?
Sure. So I'll break this question down into two parts. One is for the organizers and one is for my team. So let me, start with the team first. I had a great time. The team was amazing. And not only, I hope they learned something out of it, but not only them, I learned how to be a mentor. So revisiting these concepts, looking at it and explaining to it requires a different lens than applying it in your day-to-day work. So it definitely helped me grow as a person. So thank you, DSO, for giving me this opportunity. The second thing is like the goal, at least my goal for the team was not to get the best score or the highest score. The objective was to make sure they have the tools to get the best score later on, because realistically, conquering data science, machine learning, and all the other aspects of it in 2 months is not a realistic goal. So the objective, at least my objective, was to show them what's out there, how they can use it, and then let them discover the other tools and bigger problems to solve and hone their skills over time. So what I really liked was our, during our calls, people would ask some interesting questions and I would go off on a random ramble. I enjoyed rambling on various aspects of machine learning and various optimization functions. But I hope the team enjoyed it too. And that's something I really enjoyed, the things that were not on the slide that we weren't planning to discuss and we enjoyed discussing.
So
And,
I must say, like reliving your AI ML journey through the DSO experience.
Yes. So for a small context, like my background is in civil engineering. So I lived this journey myself. I did not come into data science, machine learning, or computer science from day one. Like I have a bachelor's in civil engineering. I worked as a civil engineer for 2 years, and then I did a master's in civil engineering. And during my master's, I was doing optimization problems in civil engineering, scheduling problems, cost problems, all these optimizations. And then the same optimization algorithms were being developed by the computer science department. So it just two and two put together, one thing led to another, and then I became a data scientist. Yeah. And it took me like 6 years. So it'll take some
Thank you,
time.
Avinash.
Yeah.
What I would like to highlight here, for our audience, that no one is a born data scientist or born deep learning expert. You all heard everyone here, including what Avinash, just shared. Everybody from different backgrounds and different domain expertise. We all look at data, we all deal with data, and then these are some of the data science. If I may say, you look at it as a different tool, a different way to get your job done. Like we have Eliza, she is a physician, but she's also looking at data and learning these new tools called AI, ML, and deep learning, and of course NLP, how that can be used into her domain, into healthcare. So do not restrict yourself, and we would like to hear anyone from any team member who is from a different background, not necessarily from computer science or software or IT, but is in data science field or looking to get into it. If you would like to share your experience from any team. Do we have Namrata? Do we have Kavashri, Eliza, anybody?
I think I can say what how my interest developed is probably very similar to most of the people on this call, and similar, Avinash, to what you were saying as well, with civil engineering and kind of doing optimization problems, that in within my work context, I was on a committee looking at readmission rates to the hospital. So I do geriatrics, and we really want to try very hard to keep our seniors safe and prevent hospital admissions. And you know, in looking at the readmission rates, there's a lot of kind of statistics going into that, and a lot of data that wasn't being, how do I say this? It was just, it was there and it was not being used. So that kind of sparked the interest, and you know, it just feels like AI and machine learning is this amazing lever, and you can just put it on any problem. So I think that's probably similar to how other people feel.
Thank you. Thanks. That's really high, you know. Yeah, go ahead. Someone was.
Yeah, I used to come all the time, and then I got very busy, and then I got laid off. So I'm used to manage engineers, but I'm also a marketer, and my degree is in business. So for me, and I lay this out there because you guys may know other marketers in your company, and encourage them. I'm an enthusiast. I'm an Asimov fan. I've read every book ever since I was like 8. An AI junkie and robotics person. But the importance of it from marketing is when you look at a company, because there's so much to learn on the product development side. Anytime product development has to take time out to go ahead and help the external facing sales or marketing team understand this at a company, they're not developing. And so for me, the more I can get into the weeds, and the more I can go in and sit with product and listen in with engineering, and not divert their attention to helping us create awareness about the amazing solutions, the more they can spend time developing. So for me, it's a very efficient, high return on investment when I look at supporting the whole company's success. The more I, as a marketer, know how to ask the right questions, like ask the right hypothesis even. And the more I can get my hands in it and explain what it is, and the less I need product and engineering to edit what I'm doing. It's very helpful that they then can pursue what they went to school for. On the other side of marketing, there's
Tina, if I may interrupt you, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. We would definitely have Q&A, you know, in a couple of minutes, but thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I would like to talk to my panelists again. You know, Shilpa talked about how she could, you know, now her takeaway from the DSO, that, you know, she could take it back to her work as a BDA at 5-9. So similarly, do we have anyone from our 5 teams, Emma, Olena, anybody, you can share what you learned as a mentor or a mentee, a team member or a team lead from the DSO experience that you could take back to your day-to-day job. Anybody would like to share that? You know, something, a key takeaway from DSO that you could go back and apply to your day-to-day job.
I think that it's something that maybe I wouldn't apply, because I have been already trying to apply that at work, but it just showed again the importance of collaboration. And, you know, like mentoring is all about hearing what members need. Like I was trying to find out at the beginning, what are people's interests, and kind of trying to attend to that. For example, one of our members was interested in visualizations and someone in more complex models. So I think listening to your team is probably, for me personally, one of the most important things, to listen and to try and give people what they're looking for, what they need. So that's for me.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. So with that, I guess, you know, we are having a wonderful discussion. So if we can now go to the Q&A, you know, our all team leaders, team coordinators, and team members could, you know, jump in and answer those questions from audience. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Shrabasti. Shrabasti Banerjee is a big data engineer at 5'9". She is a very active core team member of Women in Big Data here at Bay Area chapter. She's also the DSO program lead. I work with her very closely on this cohort. And Shrabasti, over to you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today and for sharing your knowledge and your experience. We really look forward to seeing you in the next sessions as a team lead again. And all the team members who have already learned now, I think you are in a perfect position to be a team lead. So we are looking forward to seeing you back as team leads again, all the team members. And we would like to thank you. Thank you to Rupa, Dave, Soumya, and all the WIPT admin team. And thanks for sparing your time with us, 1 hour in the evening and morning here, different places. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. And good morning.
Do we have any questions, Shrabasti?
No, we do not have any questions on the chat.
Okay.
It's all congratulations. So.
Okay, so would you like to quickly go over this?
Yeah, we also wanted to invite you all to join Women in Big Data, be part, get involved in it as a volunteer as well, and being able to share your knowledge and experience being a part of the team. And you can join us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we look forward to seeing you at our next events coming. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for attending from whichever part you are. We have people from, other continents joining us. Appreciate everyone's time. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Erica, and all the Women in Big Data Executive Board. Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Shrabasti, and all our Bay Area core team members. Thanks the audience from joining from different time zones. We would, really hope to see you all in our next Women in Big Data events. Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining, Shri. Bye.
Thanks, Ramasi. Bye, everyone.